Happy Wednesday? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Wednesday. This week's already weird and dumb. I don't know. It was cold sometimes, then it was 914 degrees yesterday in New England and stuff. And now it's back to, I don't know. But it's Wednesday. It's the day of the hump. Bobby is here. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just the Obi Trace to your Eminem.
Yes, Bobby and I started off before the show noticing that our friend, first of all, hello, good morning, Kish, but also good morning, Scott Fitzpatrick, which right away I said, oh, look in the comments, it's already Scott Fitzpatrick, get your ass kicked. And Bobby's like, oh, really? And I can tell in his tone, he's like, why do you want to fight Scott Fitzpatrick? But I was like, no, it's from that fucking Eminem song where he said Chris Kirkpatrick, the guy from NSYNC, that he could get his ass kicked. And then we started to go down the list of people that Eminem was fighting with at the time. And I like diss tracks more than anyone. But that was like a weird one. Now at least it's like two rappers, none that makes sense in the world. Eminem wanting to fight like Limp Bizkit, and then Bobby brought up the guy Moby,
Oh,
the
Moby,
DJ
who could get stomped by Obi Trace.
Obi Trace. I didn't even know who Obi Trace was. I thought that was a cousin of Buffalo Trace, the whiskey that Joe Rogan drinks all the fucking time and doesn't shut up about. But Obi, that's a big thing for Obi to have to be thrown into that to be the guy who's gonna fight you.
I think that was Obi's role within Shady Aftermath. He was the gun runner. So remember he had that
Right.
line where he's like, "My name is Trick Trick, head of the goon squad, been banging the undergrounds." Something. You heard
Okay.
about me, you just didn't know it was me. All them evil and treacherous deeds. Yeah, that was me.
And okay, but then that tells me he's not good at that job. Because I would think job number one, like point number one of that job is to not let people know you are the one doing treacherous thing. Like your whole point is to be incognito, if you will.
I
Is
think
not
he,
go all the crimes, me.
I think Obi was kind of like one of those comics who's a killer, but nobody knows of. And he's like, "No, I've been doing this the way I'm supposed to. I'm just a murderer. Please pay attention to me." Like he was the gun runner and nobody knew about him. He's like, "Wait, gangster rap's in now? I'm a real gangster."
It's like, everyone knows that JFK's gay. That's why I'm the one who shot JFK. It's like, oh no, Obi, no, you can't. You just told everyone.
Obi? And you're right. Jet fuel don't melt steel beams. But I still heard all them people scream. Obi. No.
Now we got they them. JFK once had a gay lover named Clem. Like he's just like, oh no, no, he's killing me. Lem, sorry, and I misspoke his gay name. Anyway,
Obi
good
starts beefing
morning.
with Immortal Technique. He's like, "Conspiracy rap's my thing. Obi, Bush didn't
Obi's
blow
like,
up the
I am
projects."
conspiracy. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you could suck my dick. I was the first Michael Vick. Like, oh no, you did the dog thing. God damn it, Obi.
No, Obi,
So thank
no.
you. And good morning, Scott Fitzpatrick, for inspiring one of the weirder morning conversations that we've had. And then Bobby goes, save this for the air. People want to hear this. Good morning, V. How are you?
Well, it does
Um,
kind of segue perfectly into a story I had for today.
we used to come out the gate? Let's come out the gate.
No, no, no. I mean, we could come out the gate if you want. I was just
Let's
saying,
come out the
it
gate.
perfect.
We
Kendrick
never come out the
Lamar,
gate.
J. Cole. J. Cole apologizes for his diss track responding to Kendrick Lamar. Now, have you followed this situation at all, Pat?
Well, you brought it up
Yeah.
a couple
So
days ago, so I
basically,
followed it through that.
yeah, so Kendrick did his thing. J. Cole responds, arguably buries him. I mean, it was pretty solid diss response. Then drops another song dissing him, and then at his concert comes out and before Love Yours, which is a song about just being like happy with what you've got in life, goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Like I just want to be friends."
Oh, that's not
Now
good.
is I don't know. Is that him truly like laying an olive branch down to steal something from last night? Or is it when your bully's like, "Oh, come on, buddy, we're friends," and then he punches you again? Because I'm kind of hoping it's that old wrestling trick where it's like, "No, no, no, we're cool, we're cool, we're cool." Boom, haymaker. Who's the piece of shit in this story, Pat? Because by comparison, right, you real rap beef, right? You got Biggie and Pac, both dead. Easy and Suge Knight, Eazy's dead. Suge Knight's, and you know what I mean. Like even the Ja Rule 50 Cent ended in a stabbing and people getting shot. XXX Tentacion versus Drake. Reveals the fact that Drake's got a bastard kid, and then Drake kills him.
Wait, that's how you say that?
Yeah.
Ah, man, that's not how I've been saying that at all.
I'm scared to ask.
No. I wasn't making up my own racial. No, because I don't really read all the way through. I'm just like X extension. That's what I've been calling him. I just kind of went X and then an extension of X because it's just like a lot of words after some. I wasn't gonna say all the X's. I didn't know. I didn't think it mattered, but like, I guess he doesn't anymore.
I mean, his fans are still very ruthless, but yeah, but like, so now we're apologizing. I want to see blood in the streets. I want to see don't rep Kendrick Lamar in Brooklyn. If you say, if you're bumping Kendrick music, J. Cole's friends come and stomp you out. That's what I want. Like, make rap great again. Who's the piece of shit in this story, Pat? Is it J. Cole for apologizing? Is it Kendrick Lamar for the unprovoked attack and not having a counterpunch ready to go? Is it Drake's ghostwriter for just sitting on the sidelines and letting all this happen while, Drake got dissed? We'll kick it to you first, Pat.
I'm gonna have to. I guess I'm assuming that was like a shot at Drake, but if it isn't, I have to ask: is there really a guy who's known as the ghostwriter for Drake who writes all his stuff?
That's been a rumor for years that he had ghostwriters.
It's not real. And it's people that hate Drake, right? That's what that is.
There's enough smoke that there's probably fire there, if that makes any sense. Like a couple of guys who have claimed to have been his writers have come out and been like, hey, look at my SoundCloud. This song with the same bars Drake used has been out for 3 years and stuff like that. So he may, but at the end of the day, it's like, if they're cool with it, they're cool with it.
Now, is Drake so is he a joke thief or does he have a ghostwriter?
He would be a ghostwriter. Like, it would be the idea of, I heard you tell that joke. Can I buy it from you for X
okay. I thought you were saying maybe he took it off the thing. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not really a ghostwriter. That's just, I mean, every song we listen to now has hooks and stuff. I know it's the legal process, but it's just playing off nostalgia. I know that was not nostalgia, but playing off nostalgia is what all we do now. So to play off something if Drake, I guess it's like, and we'll go back into the argument in a second, but like Kanye became a genius, not for the lyrics, but because of his ability to hear things and things that weren't there. Like he took music that other people didn't take before and found beats and things that people didn't try to do, but it wasn't all his stuff. He just used different things. Some guys do have I'm not saying Drake is Kanye. Kanye's way better when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I'm saying is maybe Drake heard this and said, hey, that's something that this guy's never going to get at that level. I can money. There's nothing wrong with that. McDonald's steals every idea they have from other smaller fast food places and launches it out. Most big movies steal it from indie movies. That's kind of just how those things happen. A TV show, everything like that. We stole this from just way better people. What we're doing. I don't know who it is, but people. I think police. 2 white men figuring out who's the piece of shit. Police officers have been doing that forever. So we've stolen that.
And we tend to fall into the same stereotypical traps that they did.
Yep.
Blaming the same group.
It's like doing that kind of. But back to your thing, I guess it's twofold. In this sense of keeping up your thug thing and all that stuff. Apologies aren't good. So it was J. Cole that apologized to Kendrick. Kendrick didn't apologize.
Kendrick has not apologized yet. No.
The apology was from J. Cole.
Right. Yes, correct.
I'm just making sure I got my
yeah. I'm just making sure
right.
Yeah, J. Cole.
So it's refreshing to go, hey, this is done. We just make music, but it's going to ruin a lot of cred with people like that because they've built this thing up. But the thing is, the people that listen to it, they're not tough either. For the most part, I mean, I worked with a lot of people at Big Lots, and all the guys who helped me load the truck were young black kids who would talk about the beefs of people at the time constantly, and they would like, yeah, I would fuck him up, and then like I'd ask them to pick up a 5-pound box, and they would cry. So it's like, it's like,
yeah,
they weren't really tough; they were just living in that moment of the thing. So an apology, in one sense, makes him a piece of shit for ruining that, but in reality, it's kind of showing maturity, which is not a bad lesson, but I feel old as a 49-year-old white man saying, it's nice to find, life lessons in the middle of your rap songs. So I guess the piece of shit is white people because we pay attention the most when black people fight with each other. We love it. So when they're fighting, we're like, yeah, I like this music even more because they're arguing. And I don't even mean just black people, but like hip hop culture, it becomes more of the mainstream. Not for someone like you that is a fan of hip hop. I'm talking about people that are outside of it and only follow it. This is a news story. You found, yes, I know it's a hip hop story, but you can find. I saw
It's in the
this being
news,
talked
yeah.
about in the actual news, and it's not about how these two people are monster entrepreneurs that have made so much money and come from fucking nothing. We don't talk about that. We just talk about how they're fighting and how one finally seems civilized, which seems like a super racist thing when you pull it back and go, look, they can be nice to each other too. So like the piece of shit is white people for fucking saying, look, they're doing it. We can let them inside now.
That's fair. I J. Cole would be my piece of shit if he did not respond. Like, if he had just, the minute K-Dot dropped the diss, was like, my bad, dude, I don't want any beef, then I'd be like, oh, you're a bitch, you're a piece of shit. But the fact that he responded twice and then was like, nah, I'm cool, let's call it even, kind of makes him a little bit better in my book, if that makes any sense. Like, he could have just very simply let it go from the beginning, but I think in order to move on and heal from an unprovoked attack, getting that off your chest probably felt pretty good first. For me, the piece of shit in this story would be Pusha T, who hates all the individuals involved, and I'm just waiting for him to jump in and slaughter all three of them. My man's been pushing coke for years. He's a real gangster.
Yeah, but because he's a gangster. He legitimately is a criminal.
Yeah, he raps about
Yeah,
one
so-
thing, which is dealing blow, and he is the best at it.
Yeah, so to me, that's not even a rapper. That's a guy on coke who sometimes just goes. He's just rattling off. So like, it's a hobby. I know he's known for it, but it's more of a his passion.
That is true. His passion is definitely coke dealing, but he is an incredible. He's the one who put out there like, your man is on a clock because E40 had a heart disease, and he's like, that man is sick. Listen to his time go by. Tick, tick, tick.
I'm not gonna push your T. I'm not push your T. Like T, there you go. I listen to some things, but one rap song I listen to way too much. But so you're saying that this started, there was a back and forth, and then J. Cole came back again. So
So it started with a compliment. J. Cole was like, I feel like it's the big three: Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and me.
Yeah.
And then Kendrick responded by being like, fuck your big three, it's just me. Then J. Cole dropped one diss track called 7 Minute Drill, where he went in and was like, we know what you're doing. You need attention. You drop an album every 12 years, and like just buried him. Then he dropped another one called Hunting Rabbits, which is even more for the jugular. Then at his show last night, after doing both of those without a response from Kendrick, was like, oh, by the way, I don't want to beef anymore. We're cool. I won the beef's over.
Okay. I guess that when I hear it broken down like that, like the timeline of it, then J. Cole's the piece of shit. Because Kendrick, I get that J. Cole was butthurt, but Kendrick's statement isn't about J. Cole or any of them. It wasn't like you suck. It's that I'm the fucking best. And that's all rap's ever been. I'm the fucking best. I'm the greatest. Eminem's been yelling, I'm the greatest of all fucking time. They all yell. Muhammad Ali yelled he's the greatest. People will say, when Mike Tyson was asked, are you the greatest boxer of all times? Mike Tyson said, no, Muhammad Ali is the greatest fighter of all times. Muhammad Ali, while he was still alive, was asked, and he pointed to Mike Tyson and said, he is. And then Mike Tyson looked at him and said, no. There was an Arsenio Hall interview one time. You are. And then Muhammad was like, yep. So he agreed. That doesn't make Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson a piece of shit. It's just their style. Tyson, as much as he is a killer, is humble. Muhammad Ali has always been, the flash in yelling and doing whatever. So if Kendrick Lamar's been saying he's the greatest since the first time he ever put out a song, always. So they could say anybody. They could say the greatest president all the time was Barack Obama and Donald Trump and Kendrick Lamar. And Kendrick Lamar would go, nah. I was president in fourth grade, high school, elementary school. I'm better. He would just say it because that's who he is. J. Cole to then come back and go, fuck you, and then get personal with it, because it wasn't personal. It actually was just dismissing overall all things. And then to put out two songs to have the mention of Kendrick by saying to him, you just need attention, you're using the attention to get 2 songs out with more lyrics in it to get more attention, so people talk about it. So you're really being hypocritical in that whole sense. And then when you're being spited by the boy you have a crush on, you finally go, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I love you. Can we tour?" Yeah. So J. Cole's garbage.
Yeah, I did kind of get stuck on Muhammad Ali being the Flash. Champ, what are you doing with that 16-year-old boy? Champ, let that 16-year-old boy go. Stop kidnapping that Native American. Come on,
Do you think
champ.
Muhammad Ali is happy that this is a deep cut? We'll go quick on it. But Muhammad Ali this weekend, right before WrestleMania, was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. He's been dead for a while; he doesn't even know it. So they had his ex-wife or his late wife, whatever, come in and accept the award, but then she also had to present the People's Champion belt to The Rock. Like Muhammad Ali, he's watching down, is like, am I part of a fucking storyline? And now The Rock's walking around with the People's Champ thing, because back in the day when The Rock first started, when he was saying I'm the People's Champ, it didn't happen. Muhammad Ali saying he reached out to their family, and Muhammad Ali gave him his blessing to use it. So 30 years later, he's like, look, I still say this thing. And now his wife's like, yeah, hey, thanks for reminding me that my husband's dead. And I guess I'm happy I get to be put in a Hall of Fame. It's not really a Hall of Fame, but whatever. Okay,
I mean,
thanks.
I think Muhammad's probably happy because he has the same amount of CTE as all those wrestlers. So he does
The old
fit
ones,
right in.
yeah. Yeah, now they don't get any of that shit. But yeah, back then they definitely did. So yeah, the piece of shit is J. Cole and white people. I'll do a slash.
Okay, and my piece of shit's not going to be Pusha T because I just realized I called him a piece of shit and I don't want to do that. So it's going to also be white people.
We were not calling you a piece of shit, Mr. T. No, you are the out of all the T. If Pusha T came out and said, "Fuck Mr. T, I'm the best T. I'm better than Ice T and Mr. T," I would yes, you are. Even in reality, he's not. I'll take the Mr. T song with my mama, I love my mama, over anything Pusha T put out. But as a person that could kill me, if I had to fight one of those 3 people, I don't want to fight Pusha T.
I'm picking Ice T.
At this point, I'm picking Mr. T. He is like 70 something and battled cancer.
I'm just gonna stop Ice T out and then go, there goes the neighborhood. Pow, pow, pow.
Right, but now you got to fight that weird woman with big tits that he hangs out with. And
Coco?
I don't want to deal with this. Yeah,
nope, no Coco, thanks. This has nothing to do with you. You stay the fuck out of this, Coco.
Nope, Coco's in the mix. She's always in.
Oh, God, then Bobby brings in his next wrestler like it's the WrestleMania because we just can't let legends die. It's Caitlyn Jenner here to fight Coco. I'm just going to get a tranny.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun
at WrestleMania.
If other transsexual people are coming out saying they're the best transsexuals, and then Caitlyn Jenner just comes out guns and cock blazing like, I was the OG. I'll constantly say this, but it is true. Caitlyn Jenner, on paper, greatest human of all times. On paper. Mm-hmm. We've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not agreeing with it. I don't think it's a real statement. But if you looked on paper, aliens came down and searched and said, who was the highest ranking woman and man? You go, we had one that was our Olympic champion, and then one of the most famous people as a woman. As a man dominated, as a woman dominated, did the best as a man and a woman that anyone has ever done. There have been way better men. There have been way better women. But as people have been both man and woman, both genders, Caitlyn Jenner became, they should change her name to Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner should be her name, and then that would be the going down in history. Bender. Right, and that way, how many genders do we have? Like, I don't know, how many Kardashians do we have? We have as many genders as Kardashians, and we keep that number.
Shit, what if that's what's Roman? Oh yeah, Roman Reigns. That's who Roman Reigns should have brought in to fight the Undertaker.
Roman Reigns to fight the Undertaker.
Because the Undertaker came in for the other side, right?
Yeah, but that was okay. Go ahead. I don't want to wrestling nerd enough. Yeah, yes, Bobby. I was about to correct you and realize how much of a nerd I am. Like, no, go ahead.
Cody brought out his tranny, the Undertaker, and Roman should have responded bringing his tranny out. Caitlyn the Gender Bender.
By the way, if anyone's watching this that is a super wrestling nerd, right now they're mad at you because all wrestling nerds are like, Undertaker's fine and all, but it should have been Stone Cold. People are really mad that Stone Cold just didn't show up for no fucking reason. It was a storyline, and it was all finishing after 4 fucking years. Undertaker was involved in the story, you fucks. By the way,
He does
quick
not.
wrestling
He looks
side
like a
note, and then we'll
tranny
move
right
on.
now.
Do you know who R-Truth is in wrestling?
Yeah, the black dude.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
in
That's
his
why I know who
mid-50s,
he is.
He's comedic. He's very funny, and he's on this final run he's been having, where he's been involved in this younger faction, this group, where he's really helped them get their name out there. By he's for people who don't know in wrestling, this guy pretends. I mean, obviously, in real life, he understands what's going on, but his whole character is he doesn't know what's going on. So when they were in a ladder match at WrestleMania, where you put all the way you win is climbing a ladder.
Yep.
He came in he tried to get a tag, and they're like, "There's no tagging in. You're all in the match." And then he tried to pin the guy, and they're like, "You have to climb the ladder." In the Royal Rumble, he brought a ladder out one time, and they're like, "You get thrown out of the." It's just silly, stupid, but it's fun.
He
goofy
was
shit.
He was the one who thought he won by climbing the ladder and then couldn't find the briefcase. In case anybody's
Right,
looking
yeah,
for the meme.
in one time. He's done that several.
Yeah.
He's done a million of these. He also had this for a while had this imaginary friend named Little Jimmy that he would in his prime when he was wrestling, and he's like, "Little Jimmy's gonna get you." And there's no fucking Little Jimmy. He knew it was a reference to like a gun or a penis, but he was kind of like making it like a joke thing, whatever, doing that. And so Monday night, after they won the tag team titles, and then the team that was beating him up this whole time was celebrating their win in a different way. He came out with them to go, "We won!" And the bad guys turned around and go, "Wait, we hate you." He's like, "Nah, that was jokes. We're friends." And he doesn't understand. So then his partner, the Miz, has to come out, and they go, "We're gonna fight you in a 3-on-3 match." And Miz looks at him and goes, "There's 2 of us, man." He's like, "Nah, we're gonna have the guy that you can't see." So they're all like, "Oh, Little Jimmy," but at the end of the night, John Cena came the fuck out, and everyone, and it was a place with nuts. And John Cena, R-Truth, and the Miz all did John Cena's "You Can't See Me," and then they called it the 15 knuckle shuffle, which I really appreciated because those 3 of them doing it.
I really like that.
And for people for people that didn't like that love the Attitude Era wrestling and are mad that it's not back, start watching right now because Triple H, they've called it the new era. It's the Triple H era. The writing is getting to there. It's way better stories, but they are getting a little bit darker, a little bit more fucked up. It's funny for adults again. So, but anyway, move on from that.
I thought R-Truth was something different.
Yes.
No, the teacher thought I could have 2 cookies. The teacher thought I'm allowed as many cookies as I want.
I have a dream that one day I have cookies, you have cookies, we all got cookies.
Then the Undertaker came. Then John Cena.
We said good morning, Kish, right?
Yeah, we did. Morning, Kish, Kish, Kish.
No, yeah, okay. Because then he said again, "Hello from Queens, Pat and Bobby." I guess
that was in response to our hello.
Okay, because his good morning, everyone. Maybe that was him addressing his people, and then we were addressed different. I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure we addressed it all wonderfully. All right, so I know this is a couple days old, but this story came up like while we were ending our show on Monday. So I apologize to people that are like, "We know about that." Whatever. I still think it's gonna be fun to talk about. Are you familiar with what happened to Morgan Wallen the other day, Bobby?
No. What the fuck happened to Morgan?
You know who he is, correct?
Yeah, Waylon.
All right. For those who don't know, they probably popularity wise, and in talent too, the biggest country star there is right now, and is basically a pop star at this point too. Controversial in some ways with things he's done, but known for many reasons. Did say the N-word, was very active during COVID. I'm not wearing a fucking mask. Was one of the first guys to really be out loud with that shit, and really drew some lines because people were like, "Hey, at this time, don't you want to make fans?" He's like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing it." So outspoken guy, whatever, party guy. Basically everything that everyone who says I don't like new country, I like old country, like Waylon Jennings and shit, like that's what he is. He's an old school guy in a new school time type deal. He also likes to celebrate. So we'll just go with the headline. Country bad boy Morgan Wallen grins in mugshot after he's booked on felony charges for allegedly throwing a chair from a rooftop bar. So I'll read the article to get more details in a second, but basically he was hanging out at a bar that was like a couple stories high and drinking and doing whatever and got a little crazy and took a chair and just fucking said, what happens if you just throw it off a balcony? and it became like inches from hitting a police officer in the fucking head. Like, he didn't know the police officer was even down there or whatever. But I don't know if you know this. Doesn't matter who you are. If you fucking fire chairs off a roof and it almost hits a cop, you're going to jail for a little bit. But he was charged with 3 felony counts from this, which seems a little. I get it. You're making an example, but like, the Wasted on You hitmaker was taken into custody after he allegedly threw a chair from the 6th floor of Chief's Bar in downtown Nashville at 10:45 on a Sunday, which probably, by the way, is going pretty hard on a Sunday. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I get it. I know who he is, but that's kind of great. The police department said the chair landed 3 feet away from them. The actual police. Cops arrested Wallen and booked him at 12:30 Monday morning. The singer was charged with 3 counts of reckless endangerment and 1 count of disorderly conduct. At 10:53 Sunday evening, Morgan Wallen was arrested in downtown Nashville for reckless endangerment and disorderly conduct. He is cooperating fully with authorities. Now, I don't have the picture up here. But people are more upset because it's not your typical mugshot. It really looks like he just got like valedictorian. Like, he is smiling so fucking hard. It's not even like being a dick. He literally is just having a great time. Now, yes, he was so drunk that he threw a chair and got arrested at 10:30, and they took this picture about an hour and a half later. He might have been so intoxicated that he thought he was posing for like a photo shoot like he does every day and shit. But he literally is like but big teeth out and everything, and the hair looks good. He's just like, hey, like what up? Like, if you wanted to take a picture of him in the back there. By the way, it looks like also one of those pictures that they show when a guy dies, and they're like, they find the best photo in the court case, like in better time. Like, he's kind of like, you're like, oh, he was a happy guy.
Yeah, just a big old sweetheart having too many drinks.
Way too many drinks. Wallen's bond was set at $15,250. He was released from Davidson County Jail around 3:30 a.m. According to onlookers, the country star laughed after the ordeal. So you gotta love the fact that he knows he's just out. I got lawyers. I got all the money in the world. Whatever. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't hit anybody. So
I didn't drive.
Oh, it's in Nashville too, happening. So
yeah,
not that you and I wouldn't know who he was when you said his name. I wouldn't know his face. Like, maybe, but I don't know him, and I know his music. But if he just walked by me, I don't think I would go, that's Morgan Wallen. I don't think so.
Especially in Nashville, where everybody looks like Morgan Wallen.
Well, no, in Nashville with the cops and everybody there, they all know who he is. Like, it's kind of like in comedy with Nate Bargatze, where we all know who he is, kind of, but there he is Chris Rock, and you know what I mean. So
yeah, I was saying, like, we wouldn't be able to pull him apart from the other 6-foot-tall bearded cowboys just walking around, because you see that everywhere in Nashville.
Don't mean to correct you, but Morgan Wallen never has a beard. He's just a handsome, smooth-faced devil. He's just like a little.
Well, then we definitely would not be able to recognize him. Seems like you might be able to with your homoerotic knowledge of his facial hair.
I just literally stared at his picture. I literally told you about his smile. I might be gay, but not for this.
I thought you were just letting the homoeroticism sink in for a second. That's why you took that beat. You're just like, am I gay? Do I like Morgan Wallen? Would that explain my whole life?
Yeah. An image posted on Instagram. An image post on Instagram appears to show Wallen shouting in the back of the cop car outside the bar. And then they asked the guy, I worked there, and the chair damn near took out 2 cops. He threw it from the 6th floor, said one guy who worked at the bar. His court date is May 3rd. The date aligns with his upcoming performance in Nashville, as he's slated to take to the stage in Nissan Stadium from May 2nd to May 4th. So he's doing 3 nights at this monster stadium, and then in between is going to court for throwing a chair at people. He's like,
the old Kobe situation.
They're like,
sing for your innocence.
When can we? Yeah, but no, it's the opposite. When can we bring you to court? And he's like, they're like, how about this date? Nah, that doesn't work for me. I'll be back around May 2nd to 4th. You want to just schedule it in there? And they're like, wait, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I'm touring.
Wallen, I don't have to come back.
I'm Morgan Wallen. We're heading to Pennsylvania as part of his one night at a time tour. Chief's Bar is owned by fellow country musician Eric Church. The bar celebrated its grand opening over the weekend. So this was their grand opening. So maybe he was just partying hard with Eric Church. Eric Church, another legendary country big time singer and stuff. I know Eric Church is popular with the fatties because when I performed at Mohegan Sun one time on a Thursday 10 o'clock show, we got there early and we couldn't park because there was so many cars there to see Eric Church at the arena inside the casino. And then we walked around. It was just heifers wearing Daisy Dukes and fucking plaid shirts. Monster. I didn't see one thin girl in the bunch. And a lot of thin men with these fat women dressed like cowpokes, but fat chicks love Eric Church. I don't know what it is about him. They, at least in Connecticut, maybe across the country, it's not.
He should wear, that should be his merch. Just fat chicks love Eric Church.
Or
I think
maybe
Morgan might
like,
have been. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, please. I want to hear this merch idea.
I was just gonna say maybe it should be the real Church's chicken, and it should just be a fat woman. You know what I mean? But like they're the chicks, but like that way, and you can also tie in with Church's chicken. But go ahead.
I love it. I love that. I was gonna say I think he was smiling so big because he just realized how much free publicity he got Eric Church's new bar. He was like, "Enjoy, buddy. You're welcome."
I don't know if that's what Eric Church wanted because people are gonna be like, "Hey, where's the 6th floor?" And like, "Oh no, can we do a Morgan Wallen shot? You take a shot, and you throw a chair down."
If you hit a bullseye in the street, you get a free shot, dude. Eric, call us.
Now, here's my advice to you, Mr. Church. Close down the 6th floor. Don't let anyone up there. But start serving a drink called the Morgan Wallen chair shot. Have a chair shot where when you finish your drink, you put it in a little plastic cup and you can throw it somewhere like you were at the, like have a picture of the cops by the wall or something and then throw it at the thing so you can do a Morgan Wallen. Country people love that shit.
And if you hit the cops, you get thrown out of the bar because they love cops. Sometimes.
I don't think they do when they're rich.
It depends on who the cops are enforcing the laws on. That's what I find with country fans. When it's shutting down the good time, they get angry. When it's just if dealing with criminals.
If this was in the sticks, if this was in the sticks, I get it. Nashville's like New York City of that area. Like there's no racism in that area. It's all just people with hope. People with hope. We love God and we love Morgan Wallen. Maybe not even in that order.
Not in that particular order.
By the way, the Post reached out to Wallen's reps and legal team for comment. It's not the Nashville singer's first run-in with the law because you knew this. If it's a New York Post, any article, they have to go, yeah, this happened. Do you want to know other shit about him? Like, people love doing that all the time. Like,
girl, you want the fucking tea?
Yeah. In 2020, Wallen was arrested on intoxication and disorderly conduct charges after being kicked out of Kid Rock's honky tonk bar in downtown Nashville. So he has a theme going where he goes to bars of famous people, which, by the way, is kind of funny that a famous guy goes to, like, chain and, like, fucking goofball restaurant. Like, it's like Morgan Wallen in 2017 killed a guy at Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Following that arrest, he took to X after his release to apologize to his behavior. Hey, y'all. Just wanted to clear the air. I went out downtown last night with a few old friends. After a couple bar stops, we were horse playing with each other. We didn't mean any harm. We just want to say sorry to any bar staff or anyone that was affected. Thank you to the local authorities for being so professional and doing their job of class. He added another tweet. Love y'all. Wallen was also previously charged with DUIs in 2016, but the case was dismissed. Wallen last year released his third... Okay, I don't care about the album. The album follows the backlash Wallen faced in 2021 after he was caught using the N-word in a video recorded by his Nashville neighbors and obtained by TMZ. He apologized in a public statement shortly thereafter, saying he was embarrassed over his actions. And he said, we were just horse playing around. No, I'm kidding. It's that part. So, who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Morgan Wallen for just being Morgan Wallen? At this point, if he goes to a bar and he doesn't act the fool, I think people would be like, what the fuck? Is he all cleaned up now? Is he lost his touch? Whatever. Is it the police for making a big deal of it? Listen, I get it. No one should be above the law. And yes, he did almost hurt you guys, and that's terrible. Obviously, it wasn't a real thing, but I know we want to get, put these things out there for sensationalism and all that stuff. If you just arrest him and don't say shit, don't bring attention to it. I don't know how many people were there. It is 10:45 on a Sunday. I don't know if the place was packed. Probably was. Whatever. I don't know if the six. They didn't make details here. I would assume anywhere Morgan Wallen is drinking is somewhere. I'm not saying he's not a man of the people, but I would assume the sixth floor is probably off limits to other people, and he's probably with his people. You know what I mean? I would assume at that point, especially in Nashville, he's not drinking. He's not Rob Gronkowski. He's not just drinking amongst the people, going, "Please still love me. I'm an idiot." I think this guy's still. He's a big star. So I think they could have arrested him in a quieter fashion, because if you do that, if you arrest him in a quieter fashion, you get a lot of money donated to your police department. You like a lot of money. Like you get a whole new police department probably, just call it the Morgan Wallen Police Department if you wanted to. So, but doing it that way, is it the people on TMZ and stuff like that that every time this guy does something, they have to tell you all the other shit he did? I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. We all have done shit in our lives before. Just because you do something new, you don't need to bring. Him saying the N-word has nothing to do with him throwing a chair. Now, if all those cops were black, then I understand the story.
Yeah, then you throw it in for that reason.
He threw chairs at black cops, and he yelled the N-word. He just threw the chair. If the chair was black, maybe the chair was black. I'm not sure the color of the chair. Then you're like, okay, the N-word.
I see it, yeah.
They threw in for no fucking reason, so what? Now, the story with Kid Rock's bar, that makes sense because he does have a pattern of going to famous people's bars and throwing shit. If I was a famous person,
DUI
Morgan, don't come.
Because it could be like he could have been driving. He was just throwing chairs. So I'm okay with them including all the alcohol-related incidents. But the idea of the N-word thing is just in there to be in there.
Well, in V, I agree to a point, but I don't think at that point a bartender would be allowed to cut him off. I think with them, especially if it's Eric Church's bar or whatever, I'm assuming that there's not even like a tab. I don't think he's closing out. You know what I mean? So I think it's basically like Morgan Wallen is here. Morgan Wallen can do what Morgan Wallen wants to do. It's and the other people I was gonna say is a piece of shit is probably Morgan Wallen's people. Whoever his handlers are, his security, he might. If you're a huge country fan, you might tell me, Pat, you don't understand. Morgan's not one of those guys. He doesn't have that. He just has friends. Where the fuck it is, his entourage, his buddy, the one guy with them. He wasn't alone. He wasn't in a corner drinking alone.
Eric fucking Church.
Fucking that. Well, Eric Church probably wasn't there. He probably woke up going, "What the fuck happened to my grand opening weekend? I was here Friday, Saturday." And also, it's just Eric Church's money. Some dork like you and I is the general manager of Eric Church's bar and now has to deal with this shit. And he's yelling for me. He's like, dude, it's just like Ronald McDonald. He's the Burger King. He's just the name on the fucking thing. Michael Jordan doesn't make you a steak at the steakhouse. You know what I mean? Like, he's not fucking there. Fair. It's just a fucking name on the. They put their names on shit and invest it so you'll go to it. I performed at Rascal Flatts Roadhouse, a comedy place in Stamford, Connecticut. You think Rascal Flatts was hanging out in Stamford, Connecticut? No,
but it wasn't the opening weekend of the Rascal Flatts restaurant. I would imagine since it was the opening weekend of his bar, Eric Church was probably playing concerts. It was like the mothership where all of his buddies came through and were doing small spots trying to get people into this shitty fucking place. That was my guess.
I would assume he was probably there Friday and or Saturday. Sunday, 10:45, Eric Church probably is like, you know what? You guys can run the restaurant tonight. I'm going home. It's 3 days. I got all these fat chicks I got to go take care of now because I'm Eric fucking Church and fat chicks love me. But is it his security people or friends or aunt, whatever you're going to call them, his crew, for not handling him better, keeping chairs away, knowing what to do to get him out of there, all that kind of shit. Who's the piece of shit in the story?
So for me, it's not Morgan Wallen. You're a country musician. One of your biggest hits is Whiskey Glasses, right? So for me, it's not him. You did have a good point with his friends. Not so much to calm him down, but there should be somebody in the group who's the fall guy, right? I've said this for years about the Mike Vick situation. One of the boys needed to fall on the sword there, take the charges, right? You're on the 6th floor. Nobody saw exactly who threw the chair. If I'm friends with Eric or anybody there, Morgan Wallen, Eric Church, anybody, I'm going, it was me. Arrest me, right? That's why you're there, to be the fall guy for the famous one. So that could be partially the piece of shit. The other piece of shit for me, though, really is, and I do see where you're coming from with the cops, like arrest them quietly. Also, there's a lot to be said. You have one group of musicians who still support you. have their back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like literally every other genre of music is like cops suck, fucking fuck you, police, and it's like I maybe have his back a little bit, but for me the biggest piece of shit is country stars in the 80s.
Okay.
Specifically 1979 to be specific, which is when Hank Williams' song came out about family tradition. They got all on him for smoking weed and drinking a little too much. If they had just encouraged the weed smoke, you know what you don't do when you're super high on weed? Throw a chair. It's a lot of fucking effort. Like, that's way too much work if I'm super baked. If Morgan Wallen was baked, he wouldn't hit anybody. So, no, I blame
No,
him.
Terry. It did not hit anyone, just so you know. Sorry, Bob. Just
No, you're good.
Good. But no, it didn't. It came between 3 feet away from police officers. That's why they were like, what the fuck? They're standing there and fucking. By the way, I guess I'm not even thinking of that. If police officers were standing right there where they almost get hit by a chair from the top of it, that means police officers had to be called to make sure everything was going okay at the new Eric Church bar. Maybe the police, we haven't heard it. Maybe there was like crazy shit happening the whole weekend, and these police officers are like, if one more fucking thing happens, I don't give a fuck who it is, and then a chair comes flying down, they're like, we're arresting them. Fuck this. You know what I mean? Maybe it was a whole weekend. Maybe Morgan Wallen got there Friday and had been partying there for 3. We don't know when he got there. Maybe he'd be like, he's the house guest that wouldn't leave type shit, and they're like, fucking Jesus, Morgan. It's tremendous.
What? Yeah. You know who, and speaking of marketing, you know who wins this situation? And I did say that earlier, by the way, but Chiefs Barbecue. Did you talk about this at all? So they had a big marquee where it was like, our pig's so good it flies or something, and then they changed their sign the next day to, our pigs fly, our chairs don't.
Nice, yeah. But because Chiefs is the name of the place.
Yeah, so it was promoting the marquee was promoting another guy's barbecue house originally, right. And then there's just still church was like, yeah, just let's not promote my bar. Let's keep me out of the news for a minute.
Yeah, but I don't think Morgan Wallen's the piece of shit because Morgan Wallen was being Morgan Wallen. Like he is a piece of shit for the way he acts. And I'm not saying that, I'm better than anybody, whatever. But he is, when you choose that lifestyle to be the guy who just, I don't give a fuck, whatever. I just sing my songs, drive my truck, and do whatever. And I like his music. I think that I enjoy what he does. But that's who he is. It's a creative person who just was never told no and can do whatever. And he just keeps doing whatever he wants. But you know that when you're making your guest list for your bar. When Eric Church and his people, it's not Eric Church. Eric Church is not sitting there with 2 managers. I've run enough bars and restaurants to know that the guy in charge is never sitting there with you. But when they're getting their list of who's coming, you have to be like, oh shit, Morgan Wallen's coming. Fuck, maybe we should have a back room where he's not with anybody or has no access to windows or walls or chairs or nothing.
Put him on the 6th floor. Away from everybody. How much trouble could he get into on the 6th floor?
But at a balcony. You have to, someone else has to go, there's a fucking balcony. You can't have any access to anything. The guy's nuts, whatever. But it's not Morgan because that's who Morgan's being Morgan. You know what I mean? Like, that's who they are. Whenever a famous person gets in trouble and they've been known to get in trouble, we don't seem to care as much. It's the ones that you're like, holy shit. When Bill Cosby happened, it was devastating. There were so many other people that happened with that people be like, oh yeah, they seem rapey. They don't care. Like Louis C.K. got in trouble, but everyone's like, his jokes are all about jerking off anyway.
Yeah, he's probably jerking off.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not that shocked at the whole situation, what's going on with here. So
I think what you might misunderstand there, Pat, is that country music singers are a real close-knit family. So lately, a lot of the kinfolk have been going after Eric Church and his buddy Morgan Wallen.
Kinfolk?
Yeah. I was trying to do a family tradition, my bad.
Oh, see, I don't know the song. You brought it up. I don't know. I never listened to old country music.
Why do you drink? And why do you roll smoke?
I never liked that old. I actually like the newer shit that sounds like pop music more than I did like all that other horse shit where it's like I'm an outlaw and I'm gay and I like moonshine and I'm dumb.
I
and
like
fuck my
cold
cousin.
beer, hot wings, Wrangler, skull rings, get good. Like that kind of music.
Yeah, fuck all that stuff. It's like
No.
anything where they're just like, here's the things I like. It's like, what are you mentally retarded? Like, yeah,
Got a hot
America
date, girl
sometimes.
named Kate, thinks I'm cool because I shoot straight.
Yeah, I was in a
I
bar the
love
other
Trace Atkins.
day watching the Yukon game, and during halftime they played someone put music on the jukebox, and there's that song "I Love This Bar," and I'm like, this is the
I
most retarded
love
song I've
this
ever heard.
bar. My
Yeah,
favorite
see, you
country
just
music is other than like real touches into the roots, like he can't even bait a hook. Like I like that. But the other one I like is when it's almost so bad it's a parody of itself. I love that bar is a great option. Another good one, I'm getting drunk on a plane by your boy Eric Church. Like I
yeah,
heard
I
that
don't
the
like
first
any
time
of
and I was
these
like,
things are
somebody
bad,
wrote a
but
parody country song, and it turns out no, it was just real.
right, and then they all feel like that anyway. So it's like they're all goobers anyway. It's not Eric Church for opening up a bar and making a business transaction and trying to get people to go by inviting all your celebrity friends and all that. It's not the cops. Like I said, the cops could have maybe handled a little differently, but I'm not a cop. I don't know how that works. Maybe the only way to get Morgan out is to make a spectacle of it. Maybe he was like, if you're not going to drag me out of here, I'm not fucking going. Who fucking knows how that happened? It's anyone who goes to a bar owned by a famous person ever. Stop it. With the theme shit, you fucking dorks. It's so dumb. What about Eric Church makes me think the barbecue's gonna be good? Besides the fandom of fat women, I don't know if that's real. I've made this up, but if that really is a real thing, then it would be amazing. Like, yeah, that makes sense. But when people go to like Jimmy like Margaritaville, they look awful food. I've been
Yeah.
twice to Margaritaville's. Awful food. Michael Jordan Steakhouse, not a great steakhouse. People say you want. Sometimes they buy have decent meat there, but for over, I can get better steak somewhere else. The fact that you
Yep.
go because the guy's name is on it, that's retarded. And then the fact that they're on
Fair.
top of that, they're like, well, since we're going to lean into this and be a theme park for this country dork, we might as well invite the other ones. And who's better for drinking? Well, the other guy we like died. So we can't have Toby Keith here. So I guess Morgan Wallen, you're the new Toby Keith. So come here and drink. And
Oof.
I'll guarantee there was a solo cup Thursday or something
Red
in
Solo
memory of
Cup.
the
Yeah.
drinking
Oh yeah,
shit.
that's brilliant.
By the way, just
I
to
might.
prove how dumb their songs are, real quick. Every
While
time
you do
I've
that,
mentioned
then do
one
your
of their
plugs. I gotta
songs,
pee.
well, it was for you, but okay. And no, go ahead, go pee, go pee.
No, I want to hear
I was
this
just
part.
gonna
My bad.
say, all I was gonna say is every time I mentioned one of their songs, you literally just sang the words I just said. That's how retarded their songs are. When I was like, I like this bar, you're like, I love this bar. You know, when I was like, your family problems, you're like, family problem. It's like, it's so retarded. It's just the words. Like, they
It
don't even
does.
write. So go ahead
It
and go
is.
pee.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll be right
Yeah.
back.
Very simple. You go right ahead and pee. Who's over here? Billy Joe Schaefer has great lyrics. I don't know who Billy Joe Schaefer is. Is he the inventor of Schaefer beer? When it's time to have more than one. That was a fun saying for a while. I know they had to change that. How about Cowgirls and Moonshine? Together, I guess they work well. I guess to sleep with a girl shaped like a cow, you need moonshine. But separately, I don't need so. Yeah, barbecue would be nice in the morning. Um, I I would never care if I went to a bar and someone's like someone famous is here. Like when I was a house comic at a casino for a while, they would have every night there'd be like a famous DJ at this one place. Couldn't tell you who was a famous DJ ever anyway, but they'd be like, "Can you believe Skrillex is here?" And I'm like, "I can believe it. I can very much believe that Skrillex is here." Good morning, Stormy. I guess we'll do an RIP to Toby Keith. I think he's been dead long enough that we don't have to have. If he's resting at all, I think peace would already be found. At this point, if he was waiting for peace, then he's not had a good time. And he's waiting for us here on the show to wish it to him. It's not going to work out. But may you have all your red solo cups you ever wanted in the afterlife. All right, no one's ever said this ever. No one loves Skrillex. But it's like, but yes, yeah. Like, who gives a shit? If someone famous is somewhere? I'll go somewhere if the food is good and the atmosphere is okay. But the second you tell me famous people are going to be there, it tells me that douchebags are going to be there. So I'll guarantee you, it wasn't just Morgan Wallen acting up. I'll guarantee 1,000 douchebags were there yelling at you, Morgan Wallen's here. Yeah, let's yell the N word and drink and stuff and put sand in our boots and things of that nature. So The piece of shit is anyone that fucking opens up a theme park fucking bar. Bobby's back from peeing. I didn't do any plugs. We talked more about this, but we'll do plugs later on.
I also love Toby Keith, so I should have been a cowboy.
Him. Yeah,
I should have learned to rope and ride.
Yeah, we had a whole line that went way past that. So
okay, well, sorry, buddy.
No. I just meant it wasn't really about Toby Keith. It was more about me naming morons who go to bars, and I was talking about how you go to like a casino with nightclubs, and they're like, "Guess who's here? Skrillex," and everyone's like, "I don't give a fuck." Like people always want you to care about a thing that no one gives a fuck about. Like Toby Keith has been resting in peace so long, the piece is over. Who gives a fuck? It's dead. He's beyond dead. There's no more resting in peace. He's just resting.
But he put a boot in the Taliban's ass. It's the American way. And Uncle Sam put your name at the top of his list in the Statue of Liberty. Anyway.
Yeah, but do you after that song, do you know who's still going strong? It's
not the fucking Taliban. Nope.
Well, they're going stronger than he is.
Now they're called ISIS. He fucked them so bad with that song they had to change their name.
That's not a bad fuck you. That's a great branding move. That's not us. We're not those guys. We're these guys now. That's once again, we always talk about
the Caitlyn Jenner
number change. Or the Caitlyn
Jenner sex change. Yeah.
Yeah, you just flip it. Toby didn't do that shit. They were just smart. Okay, we're now this. What are you talking about? Taliban. That's for gays. That's where cool guys are at.
And he had that Taliban song.
Yeah, that's every song about something dumb.
That's true. I just don't know if I can stand here and listen to this besmirchment of good old Toby Keith.
Oh, I don't care. Fuck you, Toby Keith. You're a piece of garbage. You're like the most white trash guy ever of all times.
He's not as good as he once was.
No.
But he's as good once.
See,
as
every
he
song,
ever was.
You realize every song they have, if you just said to me, it's like, tie your shoes right, I'd go, oh, is that a song? Like, their songs are so dumb that every sentence you just said is like, it's not like I like to wear pants. You know his big hit, I like to wear pants, except when I like to dance.
Okay, I don't want to be
pants. I like the pants and dance. And if you're from Iran, I'm
no.
My car
I don't want to be the country guy. I don't want to be the country fan here. But that's every genre of music. The Beatles. I want to hold your hand.
That's love.
That's the title of the song. It's the same fucking thing you were just pissed about. It's simple lyrics.
No. I want to hold your hand is a message.
Fuck them.
No. I want to hold your hand is a sentiment. I would like to show you my love. I like pants. It's just him liking pants.
Country music is songs about me and who I am.
Drinking out of a cup is not a fucking admission of love. Drinking out of a cup is just a thing people do. Look, I'm a country star.
Boy.
Yeah, they're retarded. It's music for helmets. Cowboy hats are just helmets with brims.
Oh, come on. Come on. As opposed to, she had the apple bottom jeans, the boots with the fur.
When have I defended that song?
The whole club was looking at her. You're cherry picking the bad country songs. So I'm cherry picking the bad pop rap songs.
I'm cherry picking retarded people. Yeah, that song's also retarded.
I don't care. I love it. I don't care.
What does that mean? Those are just two things a child yells.
She crashed
tantrum at Walmart.
She crashed her car into a bridge.
I don't care.
She didn't care. Yeah, it's just a white woman's attitude.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, V. Thank you so much. That's what I like about you. You really know how to dance. Yeah, that's just the same fucking thing.
Song?
I'm just attacking every genre you like, Pat. I'm returning the hatred.
No, but when did I say I like that genre? I hate that band.
I don't know what kind of music you like.
I like with lyrics that you can't just repeat like a retarded person.
Okay, but what about like, I know you're a huge James Blunt guy.
Oh yeah, I can't stop loving the works of James Blunt. It's what actually this was going to be when we have to finish soon because I got my Blunt cast coming up soon. We light them up with James Blunt. It's nothing but Blunt mania.
I saw an angel.
Blunt.
Of that, I'm sure. She was on the
it's a whole
subway.
podcast. It's all
She was
check
with
it out on the
another
Patreon.
man.
It's a new podcast I call Blunt Force Trauma, where I'm just on there talking about all the things that have been impacted by James Blunt. Blunt Force Trauma. I want him and Steven Seagal to just go out arresting people.
That would be awesome.
Seagal gives him the weird chop, then he goes, "You're beautiful." That'd be great.
That is true, Scott. He is a big Kellis fan. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like,
Is Scotty a big milkshake fan? Flick that milkshake button, Scotty. What's this quote by Terry Nee? Oh, yeah, Terry Nee's going off about this guy named Billy Joe Schaefer.
I don't know all of his songs. I'll definitely listen to some more now that Terry's shot him. Terry, do you know this lyric? I like sugar and I like tea. What comes next?
I like sugar. I like tea.
If you knew the song, you would know the lyric.
Liberace had HIV?
Close, but he doesn't like no siree.
He doesn't like no siree.
There's a word in between there. It's a country song. You'll figure it out.
Like that saying. I'm like, I agree with the song. I also don't like when someone says no siree. I'm like, yep, fuck you. I don't like it either. I'm bored. If we're shutting down the no siree, I'm in.
You know, I could agree with that. Terry's got to pee as well.
Yeah, just go, man.
That's the beauty of real morning radio shows is they have commercial breaks. No, I think he was filling in my lyrics.
Oh, it's like, I appreciate you, Terry, but you can fucking go pee whatever you want. Well, all right. Bobby, you got another story?
Yeah, would you be interested in movies or sports?
We haven't done any sports yet. Let's do sports.
Okay. Are you familiar with destroying?
That's a person?
Kicker. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I should have clarified.
Destroying?
Yeah, so when I tell you his story, you might be familiar. V got the quote. But destroying was a kicker at UCF who, if you don't know much about football, UCF isn't a huge school. It's Division I, but it's the bottom tier. However, they would always get to
Central
play
Florida, correct?
Yeah, and because of being at Central Florida, like you said, they got to play like either a Florida State, a Miami, or a Florida at least once or twice a year. And Destroying decided in order to, he wasn't on contract, he was a kicker, he was on scholarship, so he made a YouTube channel and started making money from it. And as a black trash talking kicker, there was a huge fan base. He was making a decent amount of money, and the NCAA stepped in and said, you either demonetize your channel or you aren't allowed to play football anymore. And he said, fuck you. I'm not going to play football anymore. 4 years later, the NIL comes in. He could have been making a ton of money under the new contract. Everything would have been chill, but he gave up his eligibility. He walked away from the NCAA, and everybody who's been kind of following this guy is rooting for him. He's got a contagious spirit. My brother was a kicker when he was big, so I would watch his videos with my brother. And he finally got a chance to join a professional football team, not the NFL. What's the one playing now? Is it the UFL
or is it the UFL? I don't know the other ones. I don't watch them.
I believe it's the UFL.
Okay.
So Destroying's real name is Donald De La Haye, and he is playing for the San Antonio.
Whoa, real quick. His real name's not Destroying.
No, believe it or not.
From the Destroying clan? I thought he was from the Destroying clan.
Destroy. No, but Donald De La Haye. And this kind of ties into something you like, because who's one of the big owners of the UFL, Pat? The People's Champ. The Rock.
Oh, is that what they're calling? I forgot that they changed the XFL. They kind of went the name.
They merged with the other one, yeah.
That. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, The Rock.
So Destroying made the San Antonio Brahmas, which is cool. Good for him. Inspirational story. What's the big highlight going around from this weekend's games? Kicker Destroying laying somebody out on a kickoff. And then the news came out today. He broke his neck on that tackle. He's out for this.
He broke his own neck.
Yeah. He broke
his neck. I didn't know if he meant he broke someone else's neck. He broke his neck. Okay.
So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it the UFL, because they took this clip and put it out knowing full well this guy was going for x-rays on his, you know what I mean? Like making it, this was a huge hit. This is how this is what the UFL is all about. Like being like, this is what our sport is. And it turns out it might be leading to a guy never playing the sport again. Is it destroying? You've had 8 years to learn how to form tackle. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Learn how to tackle. You don't lead with your neck. That's the first rule of football. You played rugby, Pat. Do you lead with your neck?
Well, I also played football. You don't lead with your neck. Yeah, you don't learn how to
But
tackle
I'm saying,
rugby.
like,
You just
in any sport like that, yeah, there's no leading with your face. Even my brother wouldn't lead with his head. Joe Julius, probably the best kicker when it came to laying people out physically. Like when it came to just destroying defensemen, never led with his neck. So should he have learned how to tackle? Is it the special teams coach? Teach destroying how to tackle. He's your one star. He's probably the biggest guy in that sport right now when it comes to total number of fans. Pat, who's the piece of shit in this story? Or is it people for caring about a kicker? Just, we'll go to you. Or I guess the NCAA for not letting him. He probably would have been in the NFL. You could make that argument. Who's the piece of shit in this story?
Well, it's not the NCAA because the times were the times. It's like, yeah, it sucks that like when Tommy Chong went to jail forever for weed, then they're like, they decriminalize weed, and then he's like, oh, he didn't have to be in jail. Well, I get what you're saying, but you also broke a law in a time when there was a law. Unfortunately for this guy, there was agreements and stuff with the NCAA to play their sport, scholarship or not, or whatever it was. You weren't supposed to be making money. It sucked, and I'm happy there's an NIL a little bit. I'm not too happy because to go into minutia, it's ruining coaching in college sports now because a player doesn't need them really more. They can just leave. If they don't like your system, they don't have to learn in the system to become a better player. They can just literally take off now and sign contracts. There's no waiting year. You could just transfer 4 fucking times. So it's become like a business thing. They shouldn't even be going to school anymore. They should be literally paying them like teachers, but just have them to be on staff as players. I mean, that's literally what it should be because you're just a money-making thing. But regardless, that wasn't that time. That's now. That's back then. I mean, kudos to him for understanding that as a kicker, even though he tried all he could, it's very hard for a kicker to become big or it's very few kickers that become a name we all know. I mean, Pat McAfee, most people are finding out when they learn about him that he was a punter. We know as sport, but he played in the NFL. They don't even know that what he did or what he played for. He's just become this incredible podcaster in wrestling world. He's now announcer for Monday Night Raw. Like he's put himself out there and made himself a huge name.
And a lot of people say he saw destroying success, and that's why he started podcasting, and then stole all of Eastside Dave's material, and that's why he's famous. But go ahead.
I don't think anyone's saying either of those things. Maybe the second part a little, but not the first part. There's Pat McAfee's been involved in I'm not being a Pat McAfee fan or mark or anything, but he's been involved in this kind of stuff for a long fucking period of time. He actually wanted to be a professional wrestler for a while and put out videos like that, and then once he left, he did that. He's been that guy who's talked shit forever. Even when he was playing, he was the guy that was like, drew attention to himself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The reason why people say that, though, is when Destroying started doing his videos, he kept tweeting at McAfee, trying to get him to join him and do a pod together where they could talk about, football and kick. And then, like, 2 months later, McAfee's podcast came out. That's why people make that.
Well, because Pat McAfee had somebody financed that thing. It's obviously your boy Destroying, whatever his name is not as charming or likable as he fucking thinks he is. I mean, some people just don't take the hint. I don't get mad when our podcast isn't the biggest thing in the world because I'm not charming. Like, it's like I am what I am here, but I can't sit there and go, well, I know other guys who did podcasts after me, so they stole my shit. When I do crowd work, there are people in Connecticut who say, oh, they're doing a cover of Pat Oates because I yell at people, whatever, but they're doing better than me. Why? Because they're doing it a little bit more likable in a thing you want to put out there. Destroying sounds like somebody who's kind of a little bit gruff and weird, whatever. Anyway, it's not him anyway. It's not his fault for getting injured or doing whatever, tackling. He sounds like he focuses on everything but football. I'm not saying he's not a great kicker, but it doesn't sound like he's more thinking about videos and, appeasing The Rock by being on the Brahma Bulls and all this kind of fucking shit and worried about Pat McAfee stealing his shit. if you're focused just on kicking, Reggie Roby, one of the greatest punters of all times who played for the Dolphins, was a black guy who punted. And no matter what anybody said about how great he was and he could kick the ball 80 yards, what'd they say? Did you see that black guy kicking it for the Dolphins? He was just a guy who came out there and kicked it 80 yards. He was the only black punter anyone's ever seen. Ray Guy, dumbest name in the world, punter for the fucking Raiders. And everyone's like, oh, look at that guy. That guy's here. You didn't know anything else about him. They just kicked. They would just do that. Pat McAfee, what dude, a nut, was a really good tackler as well. Understood how to tackle for a punter. But you would never say he was a good at tackling. So, and also you're playing in the UFL. No offense to them. You're not good enough to be in the NFL. So you're playing against people who don't tackle well. Your coaches aren't good enough to coach in the NFL. I'm not saying they're bad. They're just not at that level. So you're not going to learn shit. They're more worried about that. It's not the UFL for putting out a video of that right away. The NFL does that all the time. We still see Mike Utley thumbs up shit. The guy was fucking paralyzed, and they promoted that like, look, the one thing on his body that works after he got fucking destroyed. I remember watching the Super Bowl when back in 84, 85, when the Bengals were playing the 49ers, and Tim Crumry, a nose tackle, went in one of the first plays, and his knee bent the other fucking way, and his leg went like a pretzel. Every camera went in on that, zoomed on it, showed his leg looking like a Z, and they're like, yeah, Tim Crumry. It's like the guy's buried. You take the camera off him for a fucking minute. We love that shit. Who's our favorite hero from 2 years ago? The Buffalo Bills guy who died on the fucking field, and everyone just kept showing him die on the field. They don't give a fuck. Football, it's all sensationalism. It's all that shit. It's anyone who's ever gone to UCF. It's the most bottom feeding. I remember when they got okay at basketball and football for 1 year. They had a decent quarterback. I'm blanking on his name. It's a black quarterback. He came into the he played for the Jaguars, I believe. Shit, what the fuck was his name? Anyway, they had a guy who actually came out of there and did decent, and they got some people to go there and got hyped up. But you're playing in fucking Florida with the big fucking three. No matter how good they are, that's the real shit. If you're gonna be destroying. No, UCF should not be taking you. They can't handle a destroying. Miami, they can handle that. They had real criminals. The Ray Lewis days, Ed Reed days, all the people that Edwin James, they had thugs and shit. They had great fucking people that could murder you. They could go to jail or go to the Super Bowl. Either way, destroying had a wrestler's name, wanted to be a wrestler. Destroying should have signed with Vince when he was shitting on people, not punting. It's UCF for thinking they can handle a destroying. And they let this guy become a thing where now he's just some paralyzed guy who's going to make videos about how to kick without a neck.
So Dante Culpepper's, I believe, who you were thinking of.
There you go. Yep.
I didn't want to interrupt while you were on a roll, but
no, thank you.
I see what you're saying. I don't think the UFL is the piece of shit. Like you said, you're just trying to get promo out there hot in the moment before a bunch of fans tweet it out. You want to have the main viewed thing. It's not the coaches. Like, yes, you should teach the kicker how to form tackle, but you're also not assuming your guy's going to run down there and lay out head first. For me, it's not destroying for wanting to make money on YouTube. I mean, he makes a 1.5 million a year, it says, off of YouTube, so he's doing all right. Maybe we could try to get some numbers up. Can you get your rugby scholarship taken?
You don't have scholarships, so.
Oh, well, I never earned one athletically either. So, but for me, it's destroying. If you're choosing a name as a kicker, right, and you choose destroying, I don't want to see you break your neck on a hit. You know what I want to see? I want to see this. Can I share?
You can, but Bobby, he did destroy his neck, so it was a perfect name.
Well, you just set yourself up for that. It's kind of my point.
Oh, him. I thought you meant me. I'm like, what did I set myself up for?
No. Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck's happening to me? All of a sudden, destroying comes in.
Boom! You missed it. Watch this guy. It's a kicker. That's a kicker.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Yeah,
That's destroying somebody. And he didn't leave with his neck. That's all I wanted to say. If you're a kicker and you call yourself destroying, you better be able to destroy.
I mean, if we're gonna show, I understand as a kicker, but if we're gonna destroying stuff. Let's pull up some old Ronnie Lott shit. Anyway, well, the guy was missing a finger and killing people. But like,
was he a kicker though?
Fuck your. No, I said I know it's not a kicker. I said at the beginning. But I said,
Oh, okay. I missed that part. Yeah,
destroying.
I was like, wait, he kicked as well.
Well, I mean,
Man
like
could do it all.
a kicker making a big hit is kind of like when the kid who always rides the bench in your little league team hits a home run. You're like, whoa, that's great for that guy. Wow, I can't believe that guy did that. It's not a great that was still shitty form. It was just body bumping, but also the guy running was like, there's no way the kicker's gonna fucking hit me, and then he hit him, and he got thrown off, and that shit happened. You know what I mean? You got surprised by the bitch.
He did it again the next game to Michigan and leveled a guy, and then the next game somebody came out and just headhunted Joey and leveled him, and then got a flag, and it's like, nope, you can't throw that flag. He wanted to be a real athlete. He didn't want to be the kicker. Just a side note about Joe.
After a while, you scout that, and you just go like, okay, what we're gonna do now? We have one guy whose whole job is just to make sure you don't make that hit again, and you take
and
that.
You're going to feel some pain. Yeah. Fun side note about Joe. He was a senior when my brother was a freshman in high school, at our high school, and he played soccer and football, and he chose to go to the soccer playoff game instead of the football state semifinals. So my brother got to fill in, and on the biggest kick of the game, my brother whiffed it. And to this day, we still have audio. You can hear the head coach going, "God damn it, Clyde!" But when he whiffed it, it went 10 yards and bounced right into one of their guys' hands. And then you hear, "That's what I'm talking about. Just like we drew it up, buddy. Get over here. Good job." Nice. He completely fucked up, but won the game because of it.
Nice.
So good for Joey Julius.
Yeah, good way to go, Joey Julius. I love your Orange Julius restaurants that you have next to Eric Church's Bar and Grill, whatever.
Ate himself out of a college scholarship.
And you know who else eats themselves out of college scholarships? The fat girls who love Eric Church.
I thought you were going to say your next story, the woman behind you.
No, we'll get there. We got time still. I want to do another one first. So you know how the eclipse thing happened earlier this week, and people
2 days
were all
ago,
fired up about the eclipse. Yeah, that's earlier this week too. That's
Yeah. I'm saying, like, it feels like it's been so long because nobody will shut up about it. Yeah.
Well, there was people, schools were involved in it, and people were talking about it and all that. Now, some government officials would go around to schools and talk to people about things. Have you heard about Representative Sheila Jackson Lee's performance, if you will, at a school?
No. Did the school have to say, "Sorry, Miss Jackson"?
Yeah.
Were they for real?
You know what? Better, Bob. They would say, "Sorry, Miss Jackson, what you said isn't real." That's what they would say, because as the New York Post would say, they start off by going, "She's a real space cadet," because they got to do shit like that. They can't help it.
Gotta love good old Post.
Yeah. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee tells school kids that Moon is a planet and made up mostly of gases. So she literally stood in front of all of them and said that the moon is a planet and it's made of a gas, before adding she still wants to be first in line to learn how to live there. This is what this woman, a representative in politics, stood in front of school children and said. The former top Democrat on the House Science Committee's Space Subcommittee badly botched elementary lunar facts while speaking during the gathering of Booker T. Washington High School in Houston. You heard the word full moon. Sometimes you need to take the opportunity just to come out and see a full moon that is a complete rounded circle, which is made up mostly of gas. Jackson Lee, 74, told kids who gathered on a sports field ahead of the rare celestial event. She's literally sitting there going, "That's gas up there. That's what that is." And that's why the question is, why or how could we as humans live on the moon? Are the gases such that we could do that? The sun is a mighty powerful heat, but it's almost impossible to go near the sun. The moon is more manageable. Jackson Lee made a series of other questionable statements, including saying the moon, which reflects the sun's light, gives off unique light and energy, and misstating the scientific reason for the eclipse. You have the energy of the moon at night. That's just a big quote by her. That must have been awesome. Even if you're a younger kid, you're like, "Is this lady okay?" Like, she's just yelling out, "Watch out for the gas planet." What the fuck's... But also, she was on the science committee. Like, it'd be one thing if it was like Mitch McConnell being an old fuck, and you're like, "Well, he doesn't know anything. He's just fucking talking to me." She literally, even if her memory is getting shot at 74, it is a problem that we have this many old people in politics. We really do need to start. We make everyone retire from every other job.
Yeah.
a certain age. But in politics, we like put them in the office once they could have retired. Like it's fucking wild.
If you have to take the keys from somebody, they shouldn't be allowed to make laws.
Right. If you still think molesting children's okay, you might be a politician. Hey, look we're doing the Jeff Fox.
Yeah.
If you have to take the keys away,
You shouldn't be allowed to make the law. That's all I feel.
No.
I think that's not a lot to ask, to be honest.
The solar eclipse was happening because the Earth was unusually close to the moon, she said. Though, in fact, the eclipse was the result of the alignment of the sun and the moon. I don't think we've been on the moon the last 50 years. So we'll be landing on the moon. What you'll see today will be the closest distance to that moon has ever been in the last 20 years. Which means that's why we will shut the light down, because they will be close to the Earth, she said of the eclipse alignment. I don't know about you. I want to be the first in line to know how to live and be able to survive on the moon. That's another planet that we're going to see shortly. The moon. Jackson Lee is notorious in D.C. for high staff turnover, whatever. They just go on. Once again, hey, speaking of Jackson Lee, here's some other shit. They love doing that. Like, if this wasn't enough, and she's a fucking maniac that thinks the moon's a planet made of gas, and she's also been stupid in other ways. Here's how.
And people don't want to work for this crazy bitch, just in case you couldn't tell. Her staff has high turnover. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. In a statement to the Post on Tuesday, she admitted she was wrong to describe the moon, which has virtually no atmosphere, as being composed mostly of gas to the school kids. Obviously, I misspoke and meant to say the sun, but as usual, Republicans are focused on stupid things instead of stuff that really matter. What can I say, though? Foolish thinkers lust for stupidity, she said to GOPers who swiftly criticized her. So right away, she's like, fuck you, Republicans, for pointing out that I'm crazy and said dumb shit. Like you said, just say, hey, I'm old and I said dumb shit. I meant the sun, but also, she said that, but she also called the moon a planet. So, like, you can't just mean the sun.
And said that we were going to visit the moon soon, which she meant the sun. And the sun's not a planet, it's a star.
Yeah, she said a lot of stuff. Not good. Where's the other thing? Oh, they should be focusing on issues like prenatal care, building more affordable housing, and more reduction of student loan debt, as President Joe Biden is. First of all, to say that is crazy, because like, you're literally at a school telling misinformation to children. And then you're yelling at Republicans, they should be focused on other shit. You don't even know what the fuck you're focused on when you're talking. You went to this is a home run. This is an easy, you go to school kids and you have to go, isn't this crazy? I would have said, hey, where's the fattest kid in your school? And the kid's like, me, and everyone laughs. Come on up. Where's your skinniest midgety kid? And they're like, me. And then he comes up and you go, midgety kid, stand here. See, everyone see that midgety kid? Yeah. Fatty, stand in front of him. And Fatty would have stood like this, and you go, that's the eclipse. Good night, everybody. And then walk away.
Yeah. I mean, pretty fucking simple to me.
Representative? Yeah,
because you make sense.
Oh, damn it. Is that the only reason why?
Pretty much. You're the white dude. That's the only requirement, really.
And then her suit, yeah, that helps. Her big thing was saying, so my fault because I care more about protecting the rights of women and children than engaging in this kind of senseless dialogue. The fuck are you talking about? So now all of a sudden you don't care about children. You're telling them wrong. They're going to go home, tell their parents that the moon is a planet made of gas and their dad's going to hit them and leave. You're too dumb.
I think she helped women by setting them back 50 years with her knowledge of science.
And because it sucks because women have been doing all good. They're being girl bosses. They're doing all the shit they got to do. They're fucking running shit. And then she comes out and goes, goofity goop, I'm stupid. Women, shut down your 50-year-old. Anybody 50 and older, shut them down. You know what I mean? You younger ones, you're killing it. Maybe not 50. Okay, maybe we'll go 60. But they should shut them down. We should shut ours down too. Take away all the people that are super old that think they should still talk. I'm almost 60. I'm saying get ready to take my shit away too. I'm not just saying about other people now. Young people should be doing shit more. I know we say that, oh my God, they got these thoughts, that thought. When it comes to fucking being retarded, though, young people are better at not being.
I think we should treat women like their ovaries. When
Well,
the
so are
ovaries
daughters.
stop working, the women stop working.
That is not nice. Jackson Lee has not deleted her X page, the footage of herself providing the misdirection of local students. So if you want to go check it out, as of this article, which was yesterday, it's still up, and you can watch the video of her just spouting nonsense. So if anyone wants to enjoy that, you go right ahead. The video went viral after it was clipped and reposted by a Houston area radio host, Kenny Webster. So shout out to Kenny Webster for being smart enough to go, this is how we get attention. Let's fucking go. As a local Houston talk radio personality, she supplies us with never-ending vault of content. She's better than satire, Webster told the Post. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Kenny Webster for putting that out there and making her life hell? Nah, I don't think so, but it could be him. He could just leave it alone. You could just say, hey, don't disrespect your politicians, whatever. Is it her, Jackson Lee, for going there and making a speech she obviously didn't prepare for? She literally just phoned it in. You can say what you want. She could say she misspoke, whatever. There's other speeches and talks she gives, when she's talking to people in the lobbies about getting money and shit. She's not saying the wrong shit. So when she's over there, now she's fucking going in front of kids, barely giving a fuck, going, well, George Bush got some street cred for reading to kids during 9/11. Maybe if I talk to kids during the eclipse, people will like me. I'm young. I'm only 74. Maybe I can run for president in 8 years. Maybe I can fucking kill it now at 80. I can be the next crazy president, whatever. It's also her for fucking bashing the Republicans as her way. Instead of just saying, I fucked up, then she had to go, well, at least da 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 da. It's like, you're not apologizing then. That's not an apology. You're just throwing shade on somebody else and trying to do misdirect, and it's dumb. Is it the Republicans for pointing this out and going nuts, going, see, dummy, this is why you're a dummy. Don't do this, whatever. Or is it school kids for not just booing? I was a kid and someone did that, I'd be like, you're dumb. And I would have been in trouble. We didn't hear any of that. In the thing, I don't care what age they were. Some kids gotta be like, what? Like, you gotta hear one kid go, what the fuck she is saying? Like, that's crazy. Or is it the eclipse? Fuck you.
So it's not the eclipse. It can't control that it happens. We're the ones who go ape shit every time it does and make it a thing. Really, the only thing, and I've said this a number of times, an eclipse should be used to do is trick a primitive group of people and be like, I'm a god now. That's the only reason you should have an eclipse. It's not, believe it or not, it's not the politician. She did the most important service that we could teach our kids in America today, which is that anyone elected and in charge of you does not know what they're talking about and is fucking retarded. Like, the piece of shit in this story is Andrew Yang and Robert F. Kennedy for not running in and being like, yeah, this is the problem with a two-party system. This dumb bitch don't know what the moon is, but she's going to blame it on Republicans. Like, she did a service. So did Kenny by pointing out, yes, anybody who's an elected official is retarded and does not have your best interest at heart. That's a very important lesson for kids to learn. I learned it in first grade when Miss Jones was a dumb bitch. But
you said it like it was a historical moment.
Yeah.
I learned it in first grade. You remember the day that lied in infamy, the day when Mrs. Jones was a dumb bitch?
I mean, it wasn't just a day. I think that's probably how she lived her life. If I had to give her a nickname, it'd probably be like, oh, McCunty. She hated kids and was a teacher.
I don't know why she had to be Irish in this. How dare you?
She was dumb. Did you forget that part? And an alcoholic.
That's fair.
I mean, she was black in real life, but she was the one who I remember just being like, all right, I'm just not going to tell my parents about this because she's a dumb bitch.
I'm happy this story inspired that for no reason. I'm very happy that happened out of all this. Mrs. Jones, by the way, fun fact, was black in real life.
Yeah, fun fact. You know who it wasn't fun for? Me.
Oh, I enjoy that. Old people should not be allowed to be in politics anymore. We really do need.
Yes and no, because young people are dumb too. Everybody's dumb.
I'm not saying that. I'm not even going to get into the smarts or the. We in every other part of our culture, we say that when people are a certain age, They literally have to stop working. They have to pay less money. They have to do all these things. That's what we do. Yeah, I know we're
Apparently,
not there
except for
anymore.
professional fucking wrestling, where the biggest night of the year, all they do is bring back a bunch of octogenarians to pretend like they're still athletes.
They bring them back for one moment as nostalgia. They don't make them be in charge.
Oh, I thought Triple H
You know
was
what I
in
mean?
charge.
If you bring back a politician for one day, when they break out Jimmy Carter shaking bones and they're like, look, they don't ask him his policies. You just fucking go, they go, oh look, he's not dead. And then you're like, okay, then you can put him back in his fucking box. You know what I mean? No, but seriously, like we get to a certain point where these guys get in when they're politicians and they don't have to care anymore. This bitch doesn't have to care if she's right about the moon because she's just, as long as she's just popular in her state, she's never gonna fucking leave, and she just stays there forever. Like Connecticut, we have a lady Rosa DeLaura. She's a very good politician. She's been there forever, but she looks like a lizard person. Like she looks 1,000 years old, and she's been. When I was a kid, my dad would when she came on TV. I remember I was like 12, 13, my dad would go, look, son, that's the ugliest woman ever made. He would say that. My whole life, I grew up thinking this woman really was, like, that was her title, ugliest woman ever made.
Yeah.
She was a politician then. I was 9. I'm now 49. She still has the same job. And, like, yeah, I mean, that's commendable to a lot of people, but usually that happens when you start when you're 20 and you work till, like, 60. She didn't start when she was 20. You know what I mean? This woman, 74, when you say that, any other job, you're like, oh, wow, they're still doing it. In politics, you're like, oh, she's young. You literally think, oh, she's only 70? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they were propping up Feinstein for a while, yeah.
Yeah, they're so old that everything has changed so much. They're just not on top of. It's kind of like when a comedian becomes super famous, like Kevin James. I don't mean the shit on her person, but a couple of years ago, Kevin James put out a comedy special, and Kevin James is a funny guy, and at one point he was a decent stand-up comic, and he was very popular with the King of Queens and all these things. But when you get super famous and you have that much money, you don't have a connection to people like you did that made you famous. A lot of famous comedians stop when they get to a certain level because they can't connect anymore. These people are so old and so out of touch and not living in their communities and living in this bubble world in DC where they're just yelling out things all day that when they try to talk to the people, they sound like crazy people. Joe Biden sounds insane whenever he fucking speaks. It's not just because he's old and senile. It's because he's never, since like his 30s and 40s, he hasn't tried to connect really with anybody except for on camera. He's not part of the people. The younger people that are putting themselves out there and trying to work their way up, I'm not saying they're smarter, but at least they have a little bit more of a grasp of what people are saying, at least. This bitch told people that the moon is gas. Like, I've met so many stupid people. I myself am not the brightest bulb in the shed, whatever that's a saying. I don't know if bulbs in the shed.
You don't even know this for smart people.
I don't even know the saying. I shouldn't talk to anybody about anything, and I wouldn't. If you said, hey, Pat, talk to me about the eclipse, I'm like, I don't even know what happens. I don't understand it. And I don't know why we need 3D glasses for it. Like, there's no 3D glasses, Pat. Those are to block you. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought they would make the moon closer. I wouldn't know. So the piece of shit in this is politicians for just not getting it. They're like, hey, we're fucking everything up. We're the oldest thing of all time. What happens with other countries? A young upstart, they go too far. I would say they go way too far. But you get a young upstart coming in and he fucks shit up. We don't get that. I'm not even saying the president part I don't give a fuck about because the president's just basically Eric Church at Eric Church's restaurant. He's just a figurehead. You know, fat chicks love him just like the president, and that's fine. Fat chicks love Joe Biden. But, like, I don't care about the president. But everyone else underneath, 65. It should be like that. We retire, 65, you retire. You're done. New wave comes in. Because if not, you get old fucks going on world tour talking about gas moon.
But is it the old fucks' fault or the people who keep electing the old fucks? Like, right? We kind of, in theory, have a choice, and we keep putting these retards out there. It's not like they're appointed for life.
No, but they are. It's kind of like we're only given 2 options.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what
why
I mean? We're
I
not
said
given
Yang
every
and
option. We don't vote
RFK
for
should
everyone.
sweep in.
So what I'm saying is, no, but if you cut off their thing at 65, they're no longer an option. Someone else has to step up. When they're just that thing, when you go vote for a local office, you're kind of just not paying it. Some people say they will. Most people are just going with familiar names, and they've just heard that name forever. and it's always there so you hit it. Like when you don't know where you're going to eat, you're like, oh, I guess Chili's. Like you don't want to go to Chili's. Nobody has a good
Right.
time when they leave Chili's, but you just know Chili's. And when you're done, you're like, why the fuck did I go to Chili's? Because it was familiar. That's what that fucking is. But if you have a new upstart thing that comes out and Chili's isn't fucking available anymore, you might try the new upstart thing.
Yeah, but is there not some responsibility on us? Like it's almost like you're saying we've been given the right to vote, but we aren't doing the responsibility that comes along with it to make sure we're making an informed decision.
I wasn't saying. I never once said anything about us and voting for it. I was just saying if there was, it doesn't happen if they're not allowed to be there.
No. What it sounds like what you're saying, Pat, is the way the system was originally set up, where you would elect one local guy and then he would take care of the people above him because it was his job to do the research and actually put people who cared about you into office might be better.
No, I was just saying fuck old
Oh,
people
that's what I'm
and
saying.
stop having them jobs.
No, I
Yeah.
was going into
I
politics.
was saying fuck old people and when they're 65, stop it. That's what I was saying. I don't want to see wrinkly people talk to kids. You know, some kid doesn't want some loony grandma talking about the moon. We don't want it.
Yeah. It's also the kids in the audience. If a bitch messes up information about the moon that badly, at a certain point you got to go, you need to study the moon and then just moon her. Like you had a 90-year-old woman lying about the moon all that time and no one decided to show her ass.
Right. And I think that's our fault as a people because I don't know if mooning is known to kids anymore. I don't think my kids are 21 and 18, and I don't think they would know the term mooning for butt. I don't think they would know. I think we stopped teaching that. We need to keep that going so every time there is the moon, you can get a moon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
I didn't see any videos online with like here's the eclipse of the moon and then butts. And that should have been there. So maybe it's our fault for dropping the ball and not teaching that moon means butts.
It's also our fault for not making those videos.
Yeah, the butts.
I'm going to go put one out there now.
By the way, never put your moon in front of your son.
No, you don't want to do that. No.
We can teach you one
thing.
thing.
How you go to prison.
No
moon in the suns. No. Yeah.
That's how you write Thriller. You got something?
I sure do. Are you a horror guy?
Wait, a horror guy?
Horror?
Oh. I was like, I think I've made it quite clear. I'm afraid of all promiscuous ladies. But yeah, no, I'm not. I like those psychological thrillers and things like that to make you jump a little bit. But when it comes to straight out horror, I've never wanted to watch it as a kid. It freaked me out.
How do you feel about Jordan Peele?
I like Jordan Peele. I don't consider that horror, but I understand it's in that genre. You know what I mean? But it really is more like mind bending and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I get you. I like it.
I like horrors, not horror. Have you followed any of Jordan's he's in the news. Have you followed this at all? Because he wants to direct a new movie.
Is this by our favorite guy?
It might be. Hollywood's heated debate. Jordan Peele's bold Planet of the Apes reboot royal stars. In a move that's got Tinseltown's fur standing on end, visionary director Jordan Peele has pitched a reboot of the classic Planet of the Apes franchise with an all African-American cast. But before you go bananas with excitement, not everyone's swinging from the vines of joy. In fact, some of Hollywood's most prominent black stars are throwing shade at the project, fearing it could lead to some low-hanging, racially insensitive jokes. Absolutely not, says Will Smith. Will Smith, the Fresh Prince, Hollywood royalty isn't laughing. Look, I love a good sci-fi, but it's like inviting a gorilla to a banana buffet and telling him to behave, Smith quipped. We fought too hard to get past the stereotypes just to space dive back into them. Viola Davis said this script belongs in the forbidden zone. Academy Award winner Viola Davis didn't mince words either. I respect Jordan, I truly do, but this script, it's like trying to make Gone with the Wind woke. Some things just don't need to be revisited, Davis stated, her eyes rolling almost audibly. Mahershala Ali weighs in, elite backwards for Mankind and Apekind. Two-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali was equally blunt. We're talking about a film where black folks are literally landing on a planet of apes. You don't need to be a genius to see the minefield we're tap dancing on, Ali said, shaking his head. It's not the kind of history I'm looking to repeat or reboot. Peele, known for his thought-provoking genre-bending films, hasn't shied away from the controversy before. But is he ready to tackle the beast that is Hollywood's racial politics head on? Or will this reboot be a case of history repeating itself, a la Charleston Heston finding the Statue of Liberty on a beach? In a world where reboots are as common as Kardashians at a press event, Peele's Planet of the Apes is already causing a stir. Whether it will be a masterpiece or a misstep, only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Bill Pueblo will be here to give you the unvarnished truth, with all the cattiness, wittiness, and bluntness you can handle. Stay tuned, folks. And remember, it takes a Pueblo. Much love, bitches. Billy P. So, Pat, who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it?
I froze. God damn it.
You froze. Also, we should put a link to the Patreon out there for Harry.
I was trying to do that, and then that's while you were doing it, I was putting the link in there while he said that, and then all of a sudden I looked up and everything fucking froze, and now we can't get off this fucking story by the great Bill Pueblo.
Oh, we're off the story on my end, boss. You just can't see it.
All right, good. You got it off there. Perfect. That's what I was. Go ahead. Who's the piece of shits?
So who's the piece of shit? Is it Hollywood for overreacting? Let's let him make the movie first. Is it Jordan Peele for making the funniest joke ever? Or is it Will Smith for saying some very borderline things I should have proofread before I published? We'll kick it to you first, Pat.
Oh, really? You should have proofread them before you...
Yeah, on our show, the POS show, before I put it out there for the world, I should have read through what the horrible things Will said.
Well, not the things Will said. Maybe the horrible things that ace reporter Bill Pueblo said. By the way, go follow Bill Pueblo's work. He's
on Medium.
I think he's exclusively works for us now.
I mean, I cover every story he writes.
It's not Will Smith because he said absolutely. So whatever he's done in life and slap people, he's better now. That's the great pun. Absolutely's great. He's fine. It's not Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele is trying to listen. Everyone's saying that you've got to have, change and be woke and do all that. And he's leaning in. Now, he was doing that before, but I think he really realized, when something feels like it needs it, give the people what they want. And people want black people in an ape movie. You know what I mean? It's white people for not just accepting it. What does it matter? I guess I'm trying to say this without sounding like a Klan member. If we just let this happen, we have so many more jokes and things to laugh at. So, you know what I mean? If we argue it and then we tell them like, oh wait, this might come off wrong, it's bad. But man, do you have a lot more fun things to make fun of when you can just let people make a movie with black people as apes. Like, you can do what you want. But it's really Bill Pueblo for writing this article. No one's asking for this.
I mean, hey, somebody's got to cover the hot news of Hollywood. And I get your point, but in the article, it didn't seem like white people were stepping in here. It seemed like a lot of the black celebrities. For me, Marshall Ali's
I'm just saying white people for not just saying, hey, we should be supporting it is what I was kind of saying, so we get more jokes out of it. White celebrities should have stepped up and said, shut up, Will Smith, this is great.
I think I couldn't agree with you more. Everybody should crowdfund this movie. We should make it happen. My piece of shit, other than Marshall Ali for going, it's a step back for mankind and ape kind. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but for me, it's society. If it's Planet of the Apes, it's about them not being the same as the planet they're on, right? It's not like he's just shooting a documentary in the Bronx. It's about space. If he wants it to be an all-black cast, who cares? That's who he knows. That's his homies. If I ever make a movie, I'm going to cast my friends in it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off. So for me, it's society. You can't just enjoy a movie for a movie. It's got to be something bigger.
Well, I guess it's also Jordan Peele because they're literally just coming out with another Planet of the Apes. So, like, the fact that he would try to do a remake of a franchise while they're literally still doing the franchise, I don't even know if that's legal.
I don't know if anything about that article is legal.
Right.
I think there might be some slander and some libel.
It'd be like me remaking Star Wars right now while they're still putting out Star Wars. It's like, okay, we got that. We're doing it. Like, I'm doing one too.
Okay, and I mean, the only person who does that is Zack Snyder, right? Where he remakes a movie that already was made like a year prior and just cuts it differently. So I guess in that sense, it could be Jordan Peele for stealing our culture.
Right, yeah, that way. But at least when Zack Snyder's doing it, it is. I don't know if the Planet of the Apes other people are on board with it. At least the Zack Snyder people, they've been told to make this thing.
That's fair. That is true too.
You know, Jordan Peele's made some good movies. People are saying Jordan Peele's movies stink. They do not stink. Fucking Nope was awesome. I love a lot of his movies, but uh, who do you think the piece of shit is? Whites? No.
Society. Just let them make their movie. Kind of the same as you, but for the opposite reason.
Oh, Harry figured it out. He did it.
So that Pat's frozen and I look good.
Yeah, no, that he figured out the Patreon. Thank you for getting on there, and thank you for your pledge. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. I got one more story, Bobby. I'm gonna have to send you a picture though. Wait, you can't share things without me, right?
You would have to hit the button.
Yeah, which I cannot fucking do on this frozen goddamn thing. All right, we'll still do the story, whatever. We'll share a picture on the Patreon later on. Sorry about this. I don't know what the fuck's happening. My final story. I think we'll end it on there if you don't mind. My background, which you can't see now because I'm in front of it, but people have been asking through the thing, is that Jumpin' A. Ramsey, is that this and that, whatever. It's not Jumpin' A. Ramsey. It's an old ass woman that is horrible looking. Here's the title of this article. Woman claims she received stolen Jeep as a birthday tip from Waffle House customer, police say.
That's hilarious.
A woman in Oklahoma claimed the vehicle she is accused of stealing was a birthday tip from a former Waffle House customer. According to the Tulsa Police Department, officers received a tip about a stolen white Jeep Liberty on April 1st. Officers were able to stop the Jeep and speak with the driver, who they identified as Angela Harrison. Harrison told officers that she was at a gas station an hour earlier, where she ran to a former customer of hers, where she worked at Waffle House. She told police the man gave her $10 in cash and the Jeep as a gift because her 53rd birthday is coming up in a few weeks. The Jeep, however, was reported stolen before Christmas, police said. Detectives also had a photo of Harrison driving the Jeep from January 14th. Harrison identified herself in the photo, but she could not explain why she was driving the Jeep on January 14th after she claimed the vehicle was gifted to her only an hour before. Harrison was arrested and charged with possession of a stolen vehicle. Tulsa police said the owner of the Jeep died last year. The vehicle was returned to his family. Who is the piece of shit in the story? Is it Angela Harrison, or Angela Harrison?
For me, it's that customer who said it was for her birthday. That's a great way to ruin this poor woman's birthday. She's already ugly. Now you made her think she's fuckable by giving her a Jeep.
Or, Bobby, he was trying to say, listen, you're so ugly, you're going to need a dope ride. Like, you know, like when guys, like that whole thing when men have small penises so they overcompensate with a monster truck or something. That's kind of what this is. It's like, hey, we'll put you in a Jeep where some guy might be like, you know what, I'll go down on you as long as I can drive the Jeep sometimes.
See, if that's the case, then it's at least coming from a place of goodness. I think what happened here is he was like, this chick hooks me up with a discount every time because I flirt with her. I'm going to lead her on and make her think she's fuckable and just keep stringing her along as I can, which is really just the cruelest thing you could do to somebody.
Yes. Now, I wish I was able to pull back. I don't know why I'm frozen, but I can show you this picture. The reason I also want to show it is because they said she's 53. Dude, she looks 90. It's the craziest picture of a fucking woman. The years on this lady, Waffle House did not treat her good in her years there. So therefore, by looking at how old
she looks like the Boom Boom Mancini of Waffle House. She's been in a lot of fights and didn't keep her guard up in a lot of them.
But also looks beyond wrinkled, like she was in the dryer way too long. Like it's, if I saw someone that old in a Jeep, I'd be like, oh, they're just senile. They don't know where they got it from. But she is the piece of shit for not even for like the stealing and all that, but once you're confronted, once they say, hey, listen, we have video of you driving this in January, so you did not get it yesterday. And then she's like, I don't know how you got that video. Like, just say you fucking lied. At that point, you're caught. We have video of you. You can't double down.
Yeah. Also, you should know where all cameras are at all times because you should be avoiding them to keep society from having to see your face. So, like, it's doubly on you.
Yeah. it's weird sometimes when these people don't die. You know what I mean? Like, here's a neighbor who died and he had a white Jeep, so I'm guessing he's doing well. She obviously stole it and took it. He probably wasn't a bad man. But she is a horrible fucking gross person. Just lives forever and gets to run. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I think people like this should just not have lived.
I would argue, has she lived?
She stole a Jeep. That's
I
living.
guess that's the first time she started living. I think this woman spent 90 years at the Waffle House and finally one day was like, I need to do something more exciting with my life.
I like that she no longer works at the Waffle House, meaning she got fired from the Waffle House. Because there's no way she just quit the Waffle House.
And not for stealing the Jeep.
I'd be mad if I ordered waffles and that bitch's face came out. I'd be like, no, I can't eat now. Fucking this
Well,
bitch.
lost my appetite.
And my Jeep. Bitch just stole my car. Ugh. Bobby, you got anything else you want to plug or whatever? Let's get out of here while my computer's still dumb.
Yeah, I'm sorry about your computer.
I don't know
This
what happened.
weekend, starting literally tomorrow, you can see me in Phoenix, Arizona with Aaron Berg. Come on out. It'll be a lot of fun. Following week, I am in Annville at the Allen Theater, not York. So if you want to see that, come on down.
So Friday you'll be able to be okay in podcast and stuff?
Friday, I'll be fine. Yeah.
Cool.
No stress.
All right,
Monday
cool.
might be a
We'll have
problem.
show on Friday. Perfect. You can listen to me today from 2 to 7 on 95.9 the Fox in Connecticut area. But if you want to also, it's not me doing shows like this. It's me being a radio personality, music. I say dumb little things in between, but not I can't go off like this shit. But great music, all that kind of shit, whatever. You can, if you wanted to hear it, check it out. You can also, if you don't live in Connecticut, you can stream it by going 95.9 to fox.com. If you guys could all go over to on Facebook or social media, 95.9 the Fox, and just like their shit. It's a smaller station, but whatever. The more likes and view and followers they get, the better. And also, if it seems to be on the common thread, maybe it helps me get more work from them. So go follow them. That helps out a lot. Thank you for everyone that watched today. Sorry about the technical bullshit. But we at least thank you, Harry, for going into the Patreon. If everyone else can follow suit, go over there. Now I'm live. Here I am. I'm back again. What the fuck? So let's get out of here before we can do that. But so quickly, here's the lady. Ready? Well, let me get out of the way. You see her now? There you go.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's 52. That looks like older Dan Brown. But so please go over to the Patreon if you could. All you gotta do is search POS Podcast, I believe, or Patreon/POS Podcast, whatever. Go over there. You should be able to find it and support us there. We got a bunch of things up there. We appreciate you if you can subscribe to the channel today if you're watching. Also, if you could like the video, that'd be awesome. We'll be back on Friday morning. If you missed it last night, we put up our first segment of the inducting stuttering John Melendez into the Special Olympics Hall of Fame. That is up on our Patreon now. So if you want to see that, it's not up on YouTube, so you got to get over there to watch that. We're gonna keep doing that. We actually ask for your guys' help. So if you watch that, you can give us information to help us build up his resume so we can get him put into the Retarded Hall of Fame. Bobby, anything else?
Just remember, even though you're fed up, you got to keep your head up and don't be
All right.
a piece of shit.
I'll keep my head.